don't quit when you don't pass the audition, when you're told no, because if you quit when you're told no, when you're told no, when you're told it's not your time, not you right now, if you quit then, it was never your dream to begin with. What's up? Welcome back to the Samantha Show. I'm your host, Samantha. You can call me Sam. Just don't call me Sammy. I'm using my old school mic. Like, this was the first mic I bought when I decided I wanted to start a podcast. My other mics, they weren't working right. So I have no idea how this is going to sound. I mean, look, it looks like a pretty high-tech mic, truly. I think it is a pretty nice one. However, the connection is a little bit different than the other mics that I use. But I was getting like some scratchy, not clear noise with the other mics. So we pulled out this bad boy. However, I believe this thing kind of picks up all the sounds around me, like the awkward noises I make with my mouth. I don't have the wind guard anymore either. So look, you know what? But I got things to yap about, so we're just gonna roll with it and see how this goes today. So I just got back from vacation. We went down to Hylo Palms. It's on the beach down near Charleston, South Carolina. This was actually our fourth time going down to Hylo Palms. We absolutely love it there as a family, me, Joe, and Gracie. We've been there twice with my parents and then twice just the three of us. And one thing that I love to do when I go on vacation is try gyms. You know how they say there are people who are like foodies and they love to try food on vacation and they want to go to restaurants and try the local cuisine. Well, I feel like that's what I do with like fitness studios. So like when I travel, I want to try all the gyms that I don't have at home. So that means I'm not going to Orange Theory. Typically, I'm not going to F45. I'm not going to the big box gyms unless there's no other options. Then obviously I'll go to these places. But I want to try the gyms that like we don't have around here, whether they're independent boutique gyms that are locally owned or they're a different type of franchise that we just don't have in our area. Maybe our market here in Dayton's not big enough and things like that. And the cool thing is typically when I travel and we go to these different cities, bigger cities, New York City, West Coast, all this stuff, they do have other options out there that we don't have in our area. So I just love going and trying gyms. And you know I can geek out over the fitness experience. Look, I consider myself an expert on the fitness experience. I'm going to say it. I am a self-proclaimed boutique gym experience expert. I said it. I believe in the details and the experience from start to finish in a studio boutique gym and how it should be executed. And therefore, I love continuing to do what I consider my own market research to see what these experiences are like, what these workouts are like. How do I feel the next day? What is the customer service like? What is the hospitality like? What is the gym vibe like? Like all these things, I could geek out over this all day, every day. All day, every day. I'm so incredibly passionate about this industry and the way businesses are operated and execute their gym experience. I just absolutely love it. And so what I did is I actually had the opportunity to go to 4 different boutique gyms while I was down in South Carolina in the Hylo Palms, Charleston. And I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to explain to you how those experiences went. And I'm also going to rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm going to do it. I'm going to start to implement my own 1 to 10 scale rating on how I feel like these gyms did. So let's just start. I'm going to dive right in. I'm just going to dive right in. Okay, so the first gym, and what I did ahead of time, the first thing that I do anytime I travel is I go to social media. So I will maybe start on the internet, Google gyms in the area, and then as gyms pop up on Google, I'm going to social media, and specifically, I'm going to Instagram first, okay? I'm going to Instagram first, and I want to check out the vibes online. Social media is important, all right, y'all? That is like the first impression in what people are going to see, what's going to drive them in. So the first thing I do is I go to the social media. Does the place look cool? How many followers they got? What kind of videos they're posting? What image are they creating, right? Like, is it an inclusive brand? Just different things that I feel like are important to me. Does it look like it's going to be fun? Like, do the people look like they're going to be nice? Does it look intimidating? Like, I'm going to go to social media first. So that's what I did. So I looked up a bunch of gyms in the area. I started to narrow down. I write like little notes in my phone, what gyms I want to check out. I lay out my plan. So I lay out my plan and then I decide what I'm going to do first. I'm going to start to book it. So I do typically wait until I get down there to book just because family time is always going to be the priority. I got to figure out what we're doing. What classes can I get to? What class times can I get to? Am I going to be sore from one class? So I do kind of take it day by day. So the first class that I booked down in the Charleston, South Carolina area was at a gym called Core 4. Okay. Core 4 is a HIIT style gym. I checked out their classes. They looked intense, man. They had a class that was called Fire, and it is a HIIT style class, heated. That is not for me. I did not sign up for the Fire class. The classes online looked tough as is. There was no way in hell I had any interest in doing a hard ass HIIT class in a heated room, 90, 95. Like, I don't mind like a comfortable 70, 75 even. But y'all, you get past 80, like, that's not for me. But hey, you know what? The classes were packed. So let me get into it. So I book a class for this class is called Force. It's one of their signature classes. It is a HIIT style class. Vibes look cool online. The one thing that I really appreciated was out of the gate. I mean, within 4 or 5 hours of booking my class, I got a phone call. They called me and they followed up. They let me know what I needed to bring. They let me know what they could provide for me. They let me know what to expect. Just to kind of paint a bigger picture here, I ended up at least exploring creating accounts, booking classes with 6 gyms. One gym called me. One gym called and touched base with me ahead of time. Core 4. So out of the gate, man, they set the bar, in my opinion. Like, they took the time to reach out to me. Absolutely love that. It made me feel more comfortable coming in. When I arrived to the gym, they were expecting me. And I absolutely loved that. They were expecting me. So I walked in the door. I looked at the girl. She greeted me with like the biggest smile, right? She was warm. She was like, hey. I was like, I'm new. And she maybe had 2 new people. So she's like, oh, are you Samantha or Brittany? Whatever the girl's name is. I was like, I'm Samantha. She's like, so nice to meet you. She introduces me to the girl next to her. The girl next to her seems super excited to meet me. She walks out around the desk. She comes from behind the front desk to stand next to me. Y'all, it is in the details of that, right? So she came all the way around to hang out with me, to get to know me, to show me around the place. And so immediately she starts asking me questions about myself. What brings you here? Oh, you're here on vacation. Where are you from? What kind of workouts do you do? How many times you guys been down here? What do you like to do in South Carolina? Like, I genuinely felt like she wanted to get to know me. And I loved chatting with her. I felt immediately comfortable with her. She showed me around the space. I was asking questions about the workout. She hung out with me. And then we had a little bit of time before the previous class was ending. And I said, all right, I'm going to go to the restroom and stuff like that. And then I'll come back out. And she's like, great, take your time. I'll come find you in a moment and I'll introduce you to the instructor. And she did just that. So I set my stuff down, went to the bathroom one more time, like whatever I had to do before class. And then she found me. Like, she came, she didn't leave me there awkward, not knowing what to do next. Like, she came and found me and she took me to the instructor. She introduced me to the instructor. The instructor spent time with me. She showed me how to use every piece of equipment that we were going to use that day in detail. So I knew we used the assault treads in that class. And I've never done an assault tread. Is that what it's called? I'm thinking of the assault bikes. Is it called the assault tread? Don't quote me on that. All right. But they're the treadmills that are self-powered. So there's no motor in them. They have like the curve. And so the pace is set by you. So she worked with me before class so I could figure out and feel how to control that. So important, especially when you have a piece of equipment that is confusing or different for someone to learn how to operate and how to use. So she spent time with me on that. She really broke down and explained how the class was going to go. And then boom, bonus points. She introduced me to the girl next to me. So then I felt like I kind of had a friend going into this class. Let me pause and kind of redirect the conversation now. The vibes in the place were awesome, right? So we had some cool ass lighting, some purple lighting. The gym space was like, definitely had this like funky feel to it, like kind of graffiti walls. It felt clean. It smelled clean to me. Equipment was put away in the right places. Like, I was ready to go. And then the music was like bumping. Vibes were set before class even started, right? So I felt very set up for the experience. I was excited to dive in. I had a friend. The vibes were right. I felt like the instructor knew me. I knew them. She knew to check in on me because I was a new client. Like, everything was set up, good to go. we start class, like, I'm not gonna lie. It was a hard ass class, okay? Like, this class, it was tough, okay? But it was self paced. So when I say it was challenging, yes. However, it was me versus the clock. So at any point in time, I could stop, slow down, right? So if I was trying to prove anything, it was only something I was trying to prove to myself. Nobody knew how many rounds I got in. Nobody knew what my time was. Like, it was all competition against myself. Now, I'm just the kind of person who's like, oh, you set the timer and it's like, see how many rounds you can get in. Like, I'm going to go for it, right? So it was tough in the sense that I was like going for it and really trying to like get as many reps in that I could and all this stuff, knowing that I had a break coming in like 15 minutes or whatever it was. So it was tough. We did the rower. We had some man makers, like some different exercises there, some little combos that we were doing going back and forth and stuff like that. So it was definitely tough. But the nice thing was, I had my friend next to me. So there were a couple times I kind of looked over her. I was like, ooh, like, this is rough, right? So it was good, but it was good. And the instructor followed up with me throughout class. She checked in multiple times. And she cheered me on. She gave me shout outs. She was like, you're killing it. She did come up and she asked, like, how many rounds you get? And I told her, and she's like, that's awesome. Like she celebrated that moment with me. So it was such a great experience. It was tough as hell. It was one of the more challenging classes that I've ever taken. The intensity level reminded me of my gym at home, Exo Fitness and Wellness, which I believe we have some can be pretty intense classes. But I loved it and it was so great. And then after class, the instructor immediately came over with me. She followed up with me. She connected with me. She asked me how it went. She asked if I had any questions, all this stuff. So it was so great. And then the girl who I had connected with before class at the front desk, she came and found me. And she connected with me. And she walked me out. And she invited me to come back again. And she gave me tips about Class Pass. The next time I come in town, they have a 5-class pass. Like all this stuff. It was such a great experience. I was so sore for like 4 days, but they're building athletes. The workout was highly effective. I felt like there were no crazy weird moves to try to make it fancy. Like it was HIIT training there. We used the rower, we did box jumps, we used the treadmill, we had strength training. So all of these things that don't need to be complicated to be effective, but you had the vibes, you had the music, you had the people to make it entertaining, make it fun, to keep you motivated. So I genuinely loved it. The only piece for me that could be like, I don't even say an issue because it's not an issue, is that I believe from what I could tell, all their classes are pretty intense. So as someone who likes to balance intense workouts with something more low impact like Pilates or bar or yoga, that is not offered there. So I would have, if you lived in that area, you'd have to belong to another gym to get that piece of it if it's something that you wanted. But what they're doing makes sense. They do it right. They do it well. And I'm giving them a 10 out of 10 out of the gate. Crushed the experience. They absolutely knocked it out of the park. So Core 4, way to go. You got a great thing going there. The next class that I was supposed to experience, I had signed up for a class at this place called Hylo. And I'm going to circle back to it, but I overslept and I missed the class that I was signed up for, which I never oversleep. I don't know how that happened. Like, I have a different alarm clock at home. I must have messed something up on my phone. Anyway, didn't wake up and make it to that class. So what I did is kind of switch gears, hung out with my family. We had breakfast, and then I decided to go to a mid-morning class at a gym called Peach Lab. And a friend of mine, Dasha, who actually teaches at Shed 415 in Cincinnati, she's going to Charleston in a couple weeks. She had found this gym. She told me about it, and I was like, let me go check out this gym that Dasha found called Peach Lab. It's called Peach Lab with the cutest branding of, like, how people use the peach in emojis as far as, like, using it in conversations to, like, reference the booty. So everything is branded with this, like, peach booty theme. All right. And I love it. And it is definitely the girls gym. Although I did see on social media, again, I went to their social media account, there were some men. So I love that they're still being inclusive in that way. But look, it's targeted to women. Okay. You can't deny that. So the branding was adorable. We're talking peach, fun, colorful, pink weights. Like, are you kidding me? Loved it. So I booked a class. I booked a class called Plump, which It was a strength-based class. So this was not HIIT, which was great for me because I had done the HIIT class the day before. And it was lower body, which was great for me too because at Core 4, we had done more of an upper body focus intermixed with that HIIT style class. So definitely needed to be giving the shoulders a break. So it worked out perfect that at Peach Lab, I signed up for the pump class, which was focusing on glutes, legs, lower body strength training. When I walked in, I tell you, I felt like I had been a member there forever. I don't even know how to describe why I felt that way, but like the girl who was working the front desk and the instructor were both there, and I just felt like we started yapping immediately. Like there's just the energy, like the environment set up for a girls gym, and we were just like kicking it immediately. So I just loved how comfortable it all felt. The conversation felt good. She also let me know that if I wanted to get a smoothie after class, I could write it down. She showed me the menu and stuff, and then I could write it down, and then it would be ready for me after class. You do have to pay for it, but I loved that it brought in that protein smoothie concept that you see at a lot of gyms more targeted to men. I love that we had like the girls like smoothie protein bar. So anyway, so it was great. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna get this pumpkin smoothie. I thought the macros looked good to me. 175 calories, so nothing super crazy. Great protein. Carbs were manageable, good. So loved it. Wrote down for this pumpkin smoothie. We go to get class started. The only part that was like a little bit of a miss for me. So the instructor was getting her hair braided by the girl at the front desk. It was cute, love it, whatever. But she wanted to start class on time, which I fully appreciate. That's so big for me in the fitness experience. And she was getting her hair braided while she was starting class. So she was on the mic, but we were kind of like over, around. Like it just felt a little discombobulated, the start of class. Like people were kind of like randomly spread out. There wasn't a lot of like community with the people around me. Like I wasn't chatting with any of the other members there. The other members seemed really kind of quiet and shy. So I thought that was kind of interesting given how outgoing and friendly the front desk staff was. But she started class on the mic while she was getting her hair braided and we're stretching. Not a huge deal, but I do believe in a fitness experience. Like your instructor needs to be like fully 110% present and ready to go when class time hits. And she could see us because it's like a very open space, so she could see us from the desk. But I think she should have been there with us, right? But it was fine. She got her hair done. She came over. She concluded and did the rest of the stretches with us, the rest of the warm up, and then she broke us up into groups to send us where we started. It was kind of like a circuit training, so we had there were 4 stations, 9 minutes in each station, and you got to do as many rounds through as you could. There was like 2 to 3 exercises per station, and you just kind of have your own working equipment and you go around as many times as you can. So again, very self-paced strength training. The moves, the exercises, the strength training moves they were doing, highly effective, great exercises. Again, nothing too crazy, nothing too wild, but very intentionally put together in the circuits to target quads in one station, glutes, really burn out those muscles. It was a great, great workout. I knew I was going to be sore. Fun music. The lighting was very bright, but it was super colorful. You had like this green turf. You had a lot of peach things. Like, it was adorable. I loved it. And then after class, I got my smoothie. I also had a little note that said, thank you for coming, with a free peach energy drink. How cute. The instructor was great in class too. There were a couple times I wanted her to check out my form, called her over. I felt like she was very knowledgeable. She knew what she was talking about. So all in all, very great experience. I'm giving them an 8 out of 10. And the only reason they didn't get a 10 out of 10 is because the whole beginning did feel a little chaotic to me. Something kind of felt off. And then something just felt a little off with the clients in the class. Like I wasn't sure why there was not more energy and communication with the people in the class. The class could only fit 16. And there were 7 of us, so I also am not sure why that was not more full. Is there something else going on behind the scenes? I don't know. Something about it. But anyway, still rated very high. I would definitely go back to that gym. 8 out of 10. Very well done. Peach Lab in Charleston. The third gym that I tried was the gym called Hylo. So this was the gym that I was supposed to go to the day that I went to Peach Lab, but I overslept. One thing that I do appreciate is that I sent them a text when I overslept. I said, I'm so sorry, I overslept. Can I reschedule this class? You know, a lot of classes, like if you miss, you're either going to lose the class or you're going to get charged. And I was a little bit concerned that it would just be like, hey girl, you didn't show up. which in my opinion is fair. But they didn't do that. They let me reschedule. It was really easy just to text and rebook. So I appreciated how easy it was to get back into another class. So at Hylo, I signed up for their low pulse class. This is a mat class. It is Pilates inspired, Pilates bar inspired, and it is rhythm based. Yes, please. So we are going to be moving to the beat of the music. It's also heated. I don't love heated classes. I had said that, but it was a mat class, so I was like, all right, it's not fully hit. I'm not going to be doing the rower or the assault bike in a 95 degrees. It's a mat-based class, so I'll go in with the heat. We'll see how it goes. They also offer their high classes, which are supposed to be more hit style. So it looks like there was like a cycling bike in there, maybe some benches, things like that, which I believe is not heated, but don't quote me on that. Didn't go to the high class because I had done strength training. I had done the HIIT class at Core 4, so I was ready to do something different. I was like, let's do the low pulse class. It's supposed to be low impact, but still get your heart rate up. So there was still some cardio elements to it. When I got there, it was early, it was dark. The building was not marked well. The only reason I could find where I was even going is because there were a ton of people coming in and out. And I was like, well, all these people look sweaty. That must be where I'm going. So I walk into this building. It is gorgeous, right? Okay. Like minimalistic details, like just very modern, clean. Like I love the aesthetic of this place. It looked great to me. It looked so clean, so crisp, so modern. I'm here for it. Vibes were cool when I walked in. However, I walk up to the front desk. Nobody looks up at me. I'm like standing right in front of the desk, right? Nobody looks up to me. Didn't even acknowledge me. So I said, hey, this is my first time. She goes, oh, what's your name? Samantha. Okay. Well, she'll show you around, right? This girl. So this girl comes on the other side of the desk. She asked me nothing about myself. She asked me nothing about why I'm in town. She asked me nothing about my fitness experience. She asked me nothing about injuries. She's like, around the corners where the bathrooms are, and there is our high class room. You're doing low, so that's upstairs, so I'll show you upstairs. She walks me up the stairs. Again, no conversation walking up the stairs. Very awkward. We get to the top of the stairs. It's kind of chaotic because there's a lot of people. Here's the thing. This place is packed. People are there. But we walk to the top of the stairs. She kind of points down where the room will be. She lets me know there's another bathroom upstairs. And that's it. Have a good day. She gives me a mat. So I had to borrow a mat. There was no introduction to the instructor. There was no information about follow-up in the class. Like, it was I felt like I was an inconvenience to the two girls at the front desk when I walked in. So immediately, I am checked out. Like, that, for me, when you walk into any business, especially, like a business where there should be hospitality and customer service out of the gate, a gym, and I feel like you don't want me there. Like, it was more of a problem for her to have to get up and show me around. Like, it was more of a problem for the other girl to have to lift her head up to say hello to me. Like, I'm immediately checked out. Okay, so I'll start with that. However, I'm like, don't, Samantha, don't. I always tell myself, I'm like, stop. You're making judgments. You're passing judgment too soon. Give a chance. So we start a class, loved the place. Again, the room was awesome. The aesthetic was awesome. It was warm. I sat back towards the door just so that it wouldn't feel like too hot to me. So I was back towards the door, and the class was packed. I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I felt like every woman in that class, because it was all girls, it was probably 50 people in the class. All right. Like, it was packed. Every girl in there was probably between the age of 18 and 28. They had matching sets on. Like, like they had a matching set. And I felt like they were the kind of girls who were going to go get matcha and yap afterward. I felt out of place. And it's hard for me to feel out of place at a gym. Like, that's pretty rare. I felt like the oldest in the room. And I just it was like, I felt like it was in a cult. Like, I was like walking around. I was like, oh my God, all these girls are the same. Anyway, I shouldn't say that because I'm not judging the clientele. Like, clearly that is their demographic. Like, clearly. And I love that for them, right? The instructor she was super energetic. She did a great job leading the class. The class was challenging in the sense that it was hot. It was hot. If the heated room was not 95 degrees. It would have been a very easy class, in my opinion. But the heat added a whole layer to it. So I'm glad that because it was so hot, in my opinion, that it wasn't harder. However, then I didn't really feel sore the next day. I felt like I got a fantastic sweat in. Sometimes you just need that really good sweat. So there was a lot that I enjoyed about the experience. I loved that it was rhythm based, like we were going to the music. I kind of liked that it was simple. I was sore as shit sent from the 2 previous days workouts, and I was starting to fight a cold. So I honestly thought, like, you know, this sweat is good for me. I'm here to sweat. That's it. I kind of like, the workout was easy. I sweat a ton. It was to the beat. It was cute. It was good energy. Like, that's what I said. It was a cute experience. This is a cute experience in the room. The instructor had great energy. She had great musicality. She herself was adorable in her cute little 2-piece set. She looked like the rest of the girls. And however, when class was over, I didn't know what to do with my shit. I had a ring. I had weights. Nobody had showed me around. Nobody showed me where the equipment was. Nobody showed me where the equipment went. Nobody showed me how to clean up my space. Nobody showed me what I would have to wipe down. When class was over, there were so many girls in the room, and I had no idea where I was supposed to go. So I stood in the middle of the room, and I'm not even kidding you. I stood in the room and just watched people for like 10 minutes trying to figure out, where do my weights go? What do I need to use, a spray bottle and a towel to wipe my mat out? There was no guidance. And so that's such a big miss to me. The instructor did not say hi. She didn't know I was new because nobody introduced me. Now, she maybe could have seen it on her roster. So I went back and forth mentally, like, do I blame the instructor for not talking to me, or do I blame the front desk staff for not introducing me to the instructor? But somebody dropped the ball. As a new client, somebody should have talked to me. The instructor should have made a contact point with me. She should have found out what my injuries were. She should have found out what my workout experience was. Like, these are such vital questions fitness instructors need to be asking new clients. Basics. These are the basics. So that was such a huge miss for me. Then I finally figure out where all my stuff needs to go. I put it away. I walk downstairs. I go to put my mat back at the front desk, right? I'm waiting for this girl to say something to me. I said, oh, is this where my mat goes? She goes, yeah, you can put it there. She did not say, how was class? She did not say, did you like it? She did not say, how did it feel? She did not say, do you have any questions? She did not say, would you like to come back again? Nothing. She goes, you can put the mat right there. Just like that. Just like that. And you guys, this is where I struggle with the fitness industry. That class was sold the fuck out. They didn't need my business. They did not need my business. Didn't feel welcome there. Didn't feel like they wanted me there. Maybe I wasn't the right look or whatever. I don't know. But I think where my heart breaks is that I can walk into a space and they can barely acknowledge my presence, and that business can be booming. And maybe that's like resentment, animosity. I don't get it, folks. I don't get it. They get a 4 out of 10. Because the place was nice. That's where they got their points. The place was nice. The music was good. The instructor had musicality, good energy, got a good sweat. Not a good workout, good sweat. 4 out of 10. Let's move on. So we were supposed to go back. I was only going to make it into 3 workouts. And then Joe and I together, we decided, let's stay an extra day. We had no reason we had to get back to Ohio. So we're like, let's book the condo one more day. Stay one more day. I was like, all right. I was like, let's cycle. Let's check out the cycling scene. So I had been, typically when we went down there, I would guest teach at the cycle bar that was down there. It's closed now. But typically when we would go on vacation there, I would teach when I would come to town as a guest instructor. So I was like, let's see what cycling studios we have going on. I don't like to cycle, guys. I don't like to go cycle places because I'm always disappointed. And honestly, like after the Hylo experience the day before, I was already feeling a little like disappointed in the fitness experience. Like there's a big part of me that just wanted to go back to core 4. That's what I really wanted to do, is I really wanted to go back to core 4. However, I was in the thick of this cold and I knew that I could easily get through a cycling class. If I wasn't 100%, I was not sure that I could physically handle a core 4 class. That's how intense it was. Again, love it. They're building athletes there. So I was like, all right, let's do a cycling class. And for me, it was more like, let's just go see what the cycling scene looks like these days down here in the Mount Pleasant, Charleston area. And so I booked a class at a place called The Works. cycling. So the Works has a couple different studios. They have like yoga and Pilates and bar, and then they have like a cycling studio. And I'm gonna be honest, so I called them because I wanted to see if they had shoe rentals because I didn't pack any shoes because I wasn't planning on cycling. And I called and this guy answered and I loved his energy. And honestly, he just kind of reminded me of like a lot of my like male cycling friends back here at home. And so I was like, okay, let's do this. Like, let's go ride. Very open mind. Like, let's just like, I really tried to go in with a very clear head, no expectations. Like, let's just enjoy this. So I get there. I go in, nobody's at the front desk. I walk in, nobody's there. 15 minutes before class starts, nobody's there. So there's a girl walking out who looks like she had just got done taking or teaching class. I'm not sure. And she's like, oh, somebody should be up here. Let me go get them for you. So she goes in the back, she pulls somebody out, and they come up front. So I don't know, does that mean I was greeted? I don't know. It was interesting. But so the girl comes up front, I'm like, yeah, I'm just visiting. We kind of start to yap. Here's the thing. I think I'm pretty easy to talk to. Usually I kind of carry the conversation. So if someone at least gives me half an ounce of their attention, like I'll probably carry the conversation. And so that's kind of what it felt like to me. Like I was kind of initiating the conversation, but people were easy to talk to. The instructor ended up coming up. She introduced herself, said she was going to be the instructor. Love that. We started to yap a little bit, connected over the cycling world. I did not share that I was an instructor. I did not share that I was a senior master instructor for cycle bar for 7 years. I don't usually lead with that. I feel like I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I've been in the cycling industry for this many years and I'm an expert at it and I'm probably going to judge you super fucking hard. I try not to lead with that. So, no, but we did connect over cycling and all this stuff and chatting. She was cool. But I didn't get a studio tour. And so I was like, where's the bathroom? So somebody had to show me to the bathroom. Again, that's a little awkward for me. I don't know why a new person comes in. The first thing you'll do is just like show them all around. I rented shoes. I paid $3 for a shoe rental. I think that's a very, very fair price. Probably could have charged people $5 in my opinion. They were SPD clips. Now I'm getting into specifics. I think Delta clips are better for cycling, clipping in, newbies. They were SPDs. That's fine. Don't love it, but I could do it. No biggie. It's fine. Would have preferred Deltas. Okay. Anyway. Now we go into the room. The cycling studio was adorable. I loved it. They had Stages bikes. It was the best bikes you can ride, folks. Loved seeing that out of the gate. I was like, hell yeah. All right, we got Stages bikes. This is good. We go in. There was a girl from the front desk who was hanging out with me. She asked if I needed help setting up my bike. Love that she did that. Told her I didn't. Knew what I was doing. But love that she was there in case. And she also kind of hung out in the room. I think that's great because the instructor wasn't in there. So she kind of watched the room as people come in. That's so important. So I loved seeing that. Very great job with that. The music was kind of loud. And I could feel it initially here when I came in. But there was no bass. And so I knew exactly what was going to happen. The instructor was going to crank up that music to try to create the experience that she wanted, that she would get from a sound system with bass, but she didn't have bass, so she was going to blow our eardrums out. I've seen it 1,000 times, friends. People don't invest in good sound systems and then they blow your eardrums out because they're trying to turn the music up so loud to create an experience that bass would provide without blowing eardrums out. So I asked for earplugs because I knew it was going to get loud and said, oh yeah, she turns it up really loud. And I wanted to be like, I get it. I know what she's trying to do. A subwoofer would fix this problem. Anyway, I digress. Look, I get way too passionate about this, folks. Okay, so class started. Right out of the gate, she gives us an F-bomb. Look, I'll cuss. I'll drop F-bombs on this podcast. I have no problem with the F word. I have a problem when I feel like instructors use the F word to be cool. I don't know that that's what she was trying to do, but it kind of felt that way. I didn't feel like the room was asking for F-bombs. And like I said, I have no problem with it. I will use it on my podcast where I feel like very passionate about something. I will not use an F-bomb teaching. I don't believe that it adds anything to class. I actually feel like it is some kind of weird flex that instructors do. So that, as soon as I heard it, I was like, damn, here we go again. I know this. I know this type of experience. I know these type of instructors. She was great. I want to be careful, but I get passionate when we get into cycling. I really do get passionate. And so we went about the ride. She had musicality. Every song was a remix from SoundCloud. I didn't think they flowed very well. I did not think the ride flowed very well. Now I'm getting into my nitpicky master instructor. I've evaluated hundreds, if not thousands of rides. there was a lot of things that went right. There was good musicality. I didn't feel genuine connection with the room. I felt a lot of that stuff that you see on social media, this deep reading quotes from the internet. I'm all about motivation that creates a class where you feel something deep in the cycling room. That's what cycling, I think, offers that is unique to a lot of other fitness experiences. But when it feels forced or it feels like you're just spitballing stuff that has no real ground, I lose it for me. Like, where's the authenticity in what you're saying? I didn't feel a lot of connection between the instructor and the people in the room. Here's the thing, though. It was sold out. It was sold out. Yo, wall to wall. Wall to wall. Every bike. The choreo was simple-ish choreo. We went about 130 for at least 50% of the class. Very fast. Nobody could keep up. Maybe one girl next to me. Nobody else could hit the beat, and nobody could hit the beat out of the saddle. And we were out of the saddle trying to do 130, but nobody could do it. I actually got in my car after the ride, and I had a breakdown because I don't get what we're doing in the cycling world. I don't understand the obsession with instructors putting 130s in their ride that nobody can do. We have gotten away from a good workout. Like, I went to that cycling class because I knew I could handle a cycling class sick. Like, I knew it wasn't going to challenge me in that way. Now, granted, I've done a lot of cycling classes and my body is very used to it, but I knew we weren't going to, like, grind gear. Like, why are we not using gear in classes anymore? That's how you build muscle. That's how you protect your kneecaps. Like, I don't get it. I feel like, and this is, I want to be careful because this is not just like this girl is fine. I'm giving him a 6 out of 10. Okay. It's fine. It was fine. Very fine cycling class. I don't understand across the board. I feel like all cycling instructors have some deep need. I shouldn't say all. I feel like a lot of cycling instructors have this deep need to be something they've seen on social media. It's like this, they have to cuss and be this cool, sexy bike icon. They're not coaching the room. They're not connecting with the room. They're not giving people what they truly need for a great workout. Look, I'm getting passionate now. I know I'm bitching. I feel that way about cycling. I miss the experience. If you could take the hospitality of Core 4 and give me an instructor that I felt like created a ride that was set up to make people feel successful and work them fucking hard. Like, let's work hard in this class. And not hard by going 130 out of the saddle and blowing our kneecaps out. I'm talking grinding gear, building muscle, actual functional workout. Take the hospitality of that gym. Give me a great cycling instructor. There's your indoor cycling experience that I want to experience. But I just have to wait for that, I guess. I don't know. I keep looking. Oh, I got a little passionate there. That's why I don't cycle. This is why I don't cycle. Okay? This is why I don't go to cycling classes. I got too much to say about the experience. So that was it. I'm giving Core 4 a 10 out of 10. Boom. They have set the bar. That is what the boutique fitness experience should be. Peach Lab, close second with an 8 out of 10. They had a lot going on. The girls gym. Absolutely loved it. I could see myself just hanging out there 7 days a week. The Hylo got a 4 out of 10. Big miss on hospitality, customer service, as far as once I got there, making me feel welcome, making me feel like they wanted me to come back. They got the 4 because the place is cool and I understand the concept. I see the concept, love that they have this high intensity complemented with low impact, but still maintaining some intensity in that. So they get the 4 points for the concept and build out. And then the cycling studio, the works, I'm giving them a 6 out of 10. There's a lot that's going right, and there's a lot that the instructor did right, but there, to me, is growth and development that can happen from a customer service standpoint and from an instructor execution standpoint. But yeah, they selling out classes, so what do I know? Yeah, those are my experiences. If you've stuck around this long, maybe you've taken some pointers, some tips, maybe you have your own opinions. I'm always all ears to hear about it. If you got any gyms that you think I should check out, let me know. Happy to. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you have a great day. You deserve it.